from a purely legal perspective, sure, you've got the right to refuse a cancellation request, you've got the right to enact force majeure, but is that necessarily the right thing from a moral perspective, and is that necessarily the right thing from a commercial perspective?
How's things in London?
So, how's things in London? Things are great. They're obviously different. We have I have a global remit. We have a global business. Our head office is London, and then we have another office in New York.
Okay.
And we produce in the Lombardy region in Italy. So, three areas that have been reasonably significantly impacted by COVID-19. As well as the luxury industry being impacted quite significantly as well. So we have been busy. We've been really busy. We were well placed to deal with this, thankfully. But it's been new challenges, definitely, for everyone across the board, I think.
I wanted to dive into how your role specifically evolved as a result of the pandemic. What sort of legal challenges took precedence during this time of crisis, I guess?
I think for us, because we're a really lean team and we have a global remit, one of the biggest challenges was trying to keep up with regulatory changes in all the countries that we have operational activities. So, we don't have Swiss lawyers, we don't have French lawyers, we don't have American lawyers. We run everything from our UK head office. And that was a huge task in itself. For us, the human impact of every decision we make is really at the forefront, because not only do we need to protect that supply chain, but we work with family-run businesses, and within those family-run businesses are individuals who are supporting a family. And so there were a lot of really difficult decisions to make, an arbitrage between what were our contractual rights versus what we were morally comfortable with. And they were long and hard days for us all, knowing that the decisions that we were making were having a direct impact on other people. I think maybe in bigger structures you might be able to disassociate yourself from that, but we know all of these people and we know them really well, the people that we work with. We all visit the factories quite frequently, and these are long-term established relationships. And in particular for fashion, we essentially missed a season. So it was around how to adjust for that. We're luckier, I guess, than clothing manufacturers, in the sense that clothes have a very distinct season, shoes slightly less so.
As a result of the pandemic, how do you see the role of General Counsel evolve?
I think one of the best things that's come out of the pandemic, one of the most positive things, and I think the law was quite a way behind, was in remote working and fully supporting and embracing remote working. Now that people have been doing it for so long, it's hard to argue that it's ineffective. I am hopeful that will open up the role of GC possibly to more women who previously felt as though it may not be a viable option because they want to drop their children off to school a couple of times a week, or or people who choose to not commute or live outside of London. So I'm really hopeful that a lot of businesses continue to hold on to the idea that flexible working is a valuable mode of working. I think, and it sits in my mind, the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, where if you can keep your head while others about you lose theirs. And I think that's essentially the role of the General Counsel, particularly in times of stress, whether that's commercial stress or a pandemic, that you need to be the reasonable and level sounding board, and you need to provide comfort, particularly to those that are tasked with making decisions, and to really enable them to feel as though they're making decisions that have been well thought out, and have a sound basis. This was just a new challenge. Unique, yes, but a lot of the things that GCs deal with are unique, and it's par for the course to a degree, and I don't say that to minimise the pandemic at all. I just mean that it was a different business challenge and we had to find a way around it. We did the normal thing, reverted to the contracts, talked with other people, and on we go.